Honourable Member for Baku Central.
Right Honourable Speaker, the matter was referred to a committee. The committee produced a report. The report was late and copies distributed. Then the minister then sought to move for abridgment of time pursuant to Order 81. The minister sought to move for abridgment of time, and we allowed him to move for the abridgment of time, which was seconded. And when it was seconded, I got up and argued against the abridgment of time on the grounds that the bill had not properly come before us under a certificate of urgency. That was my argument against his motion for abridgment of time, which was duly seconded. Now, the Speaker. Yes. No, first, the Speaker first. Then the Speaker sought to give a ruling on the argument against the abridgment of time and ruled that the committee had gone to meet and recommended that the bill should be taken under a certificate of urgency. What he did not advert his mind to was the fact that we have not yet adopted the report of the committee. So once we have not yet adopted the report of the committee, he could not rely on the content of the report of the committee as the basis for a ruling. He could not. That was a fundamental flaw in his move. So he took a decision that the committee, which report this House has not yet adopted, has recommended that we take the bill under a certificate of urgency. Then he moved and said he was now going to put the question of the motion moved by the minister to a vote. And when he put it to a vote, the question, and there was a vote, Honorable Muntaka then called for a division. Mr. Speaker, those are the facts. The cameras captured it. You can take a short adjournment, go and review the camera and see whether it is not consistent with what I have told you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Ketiam.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No, I want to be fairly audible, and I would expect that, as the deputy leader said, we'll quietly listen to one another. Don't worry, I've got a booster, don't worry. Mr. Speaker, I think we should be calling you by your proper name now, since the Speaker was quite unsure what position you occupy when you preside. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, we've got to get this thing into proper perspective so we understand exactly what happened and what is it that we are doing. Speaker, at the committee stage, a matter arose as to the issue of certificate of urgency. The matter was discussed. In the end, the committee agreed that under the constitutional imperatives and as ordained by our standing orders, it was right that this matter was brought to the House under certificate of urgency. The Speaker, that was accepted. We agreed on that. Speaker, we come to this House and somehow the Honourable Member, Honourable Mahama Ayarga, Speaker, raises this very point and cites some constitutional provisions. If I may rightly, I suspect I should delete that word. He raised some constitutional provisions to suggest that the matter of the emergency, certificate of emergency, the issue of certificate of emergency has to be revisited on this on the floor of the House. It was at this stage that the second deputy speaker presided overruled it and said that by the constitutional provisions that we had read, which were the same provisions we read at the committee stage anyway, by those provisions, that matter had already been settled. It doesn't have to be settled again on the floor of this House. You overruled it. And so, consequently, went on to 63. It was having gone to 63 that the matter then came up about the division. Mr. Speaker, I suspect that that is the point that your good self is now raising, that having then dealt with the question of certificate of urgency, the matter of 63, motion number 63, which is the 81, Mr. Speaker, is obtuse, it's inconsequential, it doesn't arise. And the reason being this, having agreed that indeed by its nature, very nature, certificate of urgency means that we go through the whole procedure today. Now, if what the argument is suggested on the other side is anything to go by, it means that we have to do it 3-4 days or whatever. That goes against the grain of the certificate of urgency. The point you are making, and for me, rightly so, Mr. Speaker, is that having done that, there is no need to have actually triggered the motion number 63, which is standing order 81. That is the point you made. Mr. Speaker, constitutionally you are correct. The matter does not arise. We do not need to revisit it. We now have to go to what is listed on the other paper and then start this whole proceedings, kick it into proper motion, devoid of this deviating procedural motion. Mr. Speaker, you are right. We move on from there. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what we are trying to do. The matter about those all arguments were overruled by the second deputy speaker. And he moved ahead to put a question. And that question was challenged. That's where we are. Any attempt to think that you can undo that, you are being undemocratic. And you want to set aside our rules and operate rulers. Mr. Speaker, this other paper, in the morning, my colleague, Honorable Ahmed Banda, challenged that we didn't have a business committee to even determine this. Who did it? It's the majority. It was majority who did that. And they assembled it the way they did. So if today you are having the consequences of your own actions that you are going to line up motions, who are you blaming? Mr. Speaker, a question was put. We call for a division. That's where we are. And so far as we are concerned, that's where we have to move from. If it is lost, then we move to the next stage. But let's don't try to draw each other back, because that is where we were. The second deputy speaker had made his rulings, and he put out the question, and the question was challenged. That is where we are, Mr. Speaker. I humbly call upon you, Mr. Speaker, to continue where the second deputy speaker had gotten to, where we had called for division. Let the division be done, and then it will determine what will happen next. But Mr. Speaker, any attempt to sidestep this rule or the procedure where we got to will mean that we want to eat our cake and have it. If when the vote was put and it was adopted, you will not be coming back to it. So don't try to set aside what has already been started. It is only fair that you finish it up. And Mr. Speaker, I will urge you to keep the harmony in the House so that we play according to the rules. Simply call for the division and let's proceed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Attorney, I want to hear you, and I'll be grateful if you address me on having admitted that the matter I want Honorable Deputy Attorney General to address me on having admitted or agreed that the matter be taken under a certificate of agency. Was it still appropriate to go for other 81 that you abridged the time? I just wanted to listen. I just want to listen to the lawyers. You have spoken. I just want to listen to the lawyers.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the invitation. However, I will not deviate from what the Chief Whip of the minority has said on this matter. Mr. Speaker, it would seem to me that the majority is urging upon you to revisit a decision that has been taken by Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker is one Mr. Speaker. You, as the first Deputy Speaker, cannot come back and sit in judgment over a decision that has been made by the second Deputy Speaker. It is the office of Mr. Speaker, the office of Mr. Speaker, that speaks in this Parliament, that speaks pursuant to the Constitution, that speaks pursuant to the standing orders of Parliament. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is not as if we are in a situation where a High Court judge is presiding and is being invited to exercise the power of review. In Parliament, when the stages of decision has been advanced, the Speaker has to go in accordance with the constitutionally mandated democratic procedures of this House. And a decision has already been taken, a division has been called for, and Mr. Speaker, that is where we are procedurally. Thank you very much.
If you feel that decision was wrong.
Mr. Speaker, the import of Article 106(30) and our own orders, Order 125 and Article 103, is to the effect that a determination is made on a bill before us to determine the urgency of that bill. Now, preliminary issues were raised by the Honorable Ayariga in respect of what should constitute the fundamentals of an urgent bill. And the Speaker dismissed it by practice, by convention, and indeed even by the very articles that he quoted that will not stand any test. The Speaker ruled on that. Now, what burden, once you make a determination of the urgency of a bill that is imposed on us, is to endeavor to deal with the bill within 24 hours. The Speaker, it is the reason why Order 81 is a signpost that we should wait until 48 hours before we come and deal with it. The Speaker is indicating to us that by accepting that that bill is a bill that should be treated under a certificate of urgency, the 48-hour rule does not hold. It's waived. It's automatically waived. Mr. Speaker, that should be, please, we don't need to shout. Let me finish. If you have anything useful, you rise to counter what I'm saying.
They want to beat
You don't have to be gesticulating. You are a leader. If you have superior arguments, rise up and make it. Not to be shouting and gesticulating.
If they want to beat you to the
Mr. Speaker, so the point being made is that now you have an imposition of a burden on you to decide on the matter within 24 hours. Then 81 is saying to you that, no, wait for 48 hours. So the Speaker is saying that we don't even, when we determine that it must be treated under a certificate of urgency, then the 81 is not needed. There's an automatic waiver. The Speaker, that is legal. It should be tried knowledge. It should be tried knowledge in law to anybody.
But you don't even come to apply for waiver.
The Speaker, look at the deputy minority leader. Why are you gesticulating widely? If you have anything useful, let me sit down and make the point. It's not about shouting. If you have superior arguments, bring it up. That is what is done in this house. So, Mr. Speaker, you don't need to be a lawyer to understand law. Because what we do here, we fashion laws. If you have any discernment, you appreciate the substance of any law. And I'm suggesting to you that you are wrong in your understanding of the law in this regard. So, Mr. Speaker, what you are bringing, the illumination that you are bringing to bear, I think should be appreciated. That once you say that now you have declared a certificate of urgency, you need to deal with it within 24 hours. Then you go to an impediment which suggests to you that no, wait for 48 hours. What is the purpose of admitting that it should be treated under a certificate of urgency if you are saying that we should go back 48 hours? So, Mr. Speaker, you are right, and I think that there should be that automaticity in waiving this, and we may make a determination on that, and we can go on. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Yes, Speaker.
Speaker,
Today you are bringing a new
I've heard
a new order.
the majority leader.
No. Stop that. It's not good. You know what you are doing is not good.
I've heard the majority leader ask for superior legal constitutional argument. Mr. Speaker, this House is governed by two principal documents: the 1992 Republican Constitution of Ghana and the procedure referred to as the Standing Orders of the Parliament of Ghana. Before I proceed even on E-Levy, I'm holding with me here Office of the President, signed Nana Bedie Tuo Asante, Secretary to the President. And I'm holding in my hand here, Mr. Speaker, Ministry of Education Student Loan Trust Fund Amendment Bill 2021 to be laid in Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, I want to take you through Article 106 as I understand it, using this. In this communication signed by Nana Bedie Tuo on behalf of the President, the second paragraph reads, "The President has granted executive approval for the amendment of the Student Loan Trust Fund Act 2011, Act 820, and pursuant thereto for the Student Loan Trust Fund Amendment Bill 2021 to be laid in Parliament under a certificate of urgency." Unquote. Unquote. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm challenging the table and challenging the leader and challenging the Office of the President to produce the accompanying correspondence on E-Levy, where the President indicated that this matter be treated as urgency as was a student loan trust. Let him produce it. Let him produce it. We are here. This is the President correspondence. And Mr. President, you said we should hear. Let's go further. Mr. Speaker, interestingly and significantly, these two bills were laid at the same material time. These two bills, their first reading was at the same material time. Yet this was accompanied by this official correspondence. Then, Mr. Speaker, his lecture on Article 106 will withstand the challenge. I'm holding with me here, unaccompanied by the executive approval urging for urgency. And Mr. Speaker, today, to take my brother through context in law, when you take the electronic transfer levy bill 2021, first of all, you told us electronic transactions. Now you have gone to electronic transfer. That's what you told us. But Mr. Speaker, when you go to the back of this, it is not gazetted. It is not gazetted. Oh, leave it. We are leading an argument. It is not gazetted. Why? Because you anticipated urgency. Mr. Speaker, he said Article 106. So we'll take you through it. Mr. Speaker, let me now refer you to 106. When he chooses and picks his rules of the law, 106 provides, and I'm going to emphasize the 2A up to C. 106 provides, no bill other than such a bill, 106.2, other than such a bill as referred to in paragraph A of Article 108. So, for our purposes, Mr. Speaker, I refer you to Article 108. What the paragraph A says, proceed upon a bill, including an amendment to a bill that, in the opinion of the person presiding, referring to you as Speaker, makes provision for any of the following. This one is about imposition of taxes. So it satisfies 108A. But Mr. Speaker, the relevance, the constitutional relevance of Article 106 for our purpose today is to ask for excuses, because the Constitution says, and Mr. Speaker, now I go, no bill other than such a bill as is referred to in paragraph A of this article shall be introduced in Parliament unless because it is accompanied by an explanatory memorandum. So you see the memorandum here, you've satisfied it, which will spell out what we call the mischief rule, the defects of why you are bringing the legislation and what you are seeking to do. So memorandum satisfied. Then, Mr. Speaker, 106 2B, my emphasis, it has been published in the Gazette at least 14 days before the date of its introduction in Parliament. So ordinarily, the Parliament of Ghana cannot be considering this e-bill, because it will mean you should have published it in the Gazette for 14 clear days. But because you want Parliament to excuse you from meeting this compelling constitutional obligation, that is why you have not gazetted. That is the essence of 106.13. That, forgive me, because this bill is urgent, I cannot publish it for 2 weeks before I introduce it in Parliament. That should be your argument. But Mr. Speaker, what the minority whip did, Mr. Speaker, there was a ruling, and the ruling is that we voted, and our standing orders provide that when you are not satisfied with the voice vote, you proceed to ask for a division or a head count. Nothing more. That is what he invoked, and that is where we are. So count whatever the outcome, then you can proceed with other business. That is what he asked for. That count, then we know where we stand. He is simply saying that, Mr. Speaker, I'm not satisfied with the voice vote. And Mr. Speaker, by the way, there are cameras here. At the time that the question was put, we knew those who were in this chamber. You may not get the same outcome now, earlier than what you got 2 hours ago. You may not. But at the time that the whip challenged it, he knew. So, Mr. Speaker, don't say you are schooling us on 106. That is why we haven't asked you. In any case, Mr. Speaker, give us the present letter of urgency. Then why did he do so for student loan trust? The same president, the same executive secretary. Produce it. If you have it, put it here. So, Mr. Speaker, proceed on where we were. Then we'll do business. We are here. E-Levy, we are here to fight it until we kill the killer tax. That's all. We are here. Until we kill the killer tax, we are here.
Very well. Honourable members, I raised the matter. I raised the issue as to whether it is consistent for an issue which the committee had determined that be taken under a certificate of agency to also undergo a determination under 1081. I think procedurally it's not right, but we've gone. Can we respect one another? I sit here when everybody is talking, I listen. When I talk, please listen. Thank you. Can I have some order, please? At the front benches. The order or this order is from the front benches, please. Honourable members, I was saying that, in my view, having adopted the bill to be taken under a certificate of agency, it was not necessary to have come under. It was not necessary to have come under 1081. However, we have gone through that and taking a vote. Now the issue is the challenge of the Speaker's ruling on the voice vote. So we will return to that. But I want to put it on record that as long as this bill remains on the table, we will discount with the need to come under Order 1081 henceforth. Thank you very much. Now, what had happened was that a division was called for. Right. Can the table office assist us? Honourable members, kindly let me read out the procedure on divisions. Order 1141. In the case of a division, the Speaker shall direct that the lobbies be cleared, and upon such direction being given, the division bell shall be rung for 1 minute. After a lapse of 2 minutes from this direction, he shall put the question. The Speaker shall declare whether in his opinion the ayes or the noes have it. And if his opinion is again opposed, he shall announce the names of 2 tallies for the ayes and 2 for the noes, and shall direct that a division be held. Honourable members, the rule is that I should put the question again, and that The ayes and the noes have it. After my ruling, if it is still challenged, then we go through the tellers again. Yes, Honorable Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since we are preparing for the division, as the Order 114 clearly states, the lobby will have to be cleared. So all those who do not have votes will have to respectfully leave us, so that only those who vote will stay to go through the division. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, because we don't have a division room, I'm advised that the agreement is that we'll all file out, and then the yes will come and they are counted. After that, the noes will come and they are counted. But let me put on record that as soon as I leave the seat, I'm entitled to vote. Order. And midway, when the second deputy speaker has voted, he will relieve me and I will cast my vote. Thank you. Honourable members, by the rules, the bell will be rung for 1 minute. After that, I'll put the question again, and if it is still challenged, we will then go through the process. Thank you very much. Yes,
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the Chair's attention to Order 109, Sub Order 3. Mr. Speaker, it says a Deputy Speaker or any other member presiding shall not retain his original vote whilst presiding. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Continue, you have the floor. Continue, you have the floor.
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, at the commencement of public business and the resumption.
Order. Please, order. Yes,
Mr. Speaker. At the commencement of public business, and when we resumed after adjournment, after suspension, sorry, you as the first Deputy Speaker took the chair as a Speaker of Parliament.
please, not as the Speaker of Parliament. That's very unfortunate.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am duly corrected by referring to you as having taken the seat as Mr. Speaker, but you took the chair as Deputy Speaker. And in the words of Order 109, Sub Order 3, you are not entitled to an original vote. And because you are not entitled to an original vote, as the person presiding, it will be contrary to the practices, conventions of Parliament for you to hand over your seat and come down and join the fray in voting. And Mr. Speaker, the reason why the drafters of the orders, as well as the drafters of the Constitution, did not give the person presiding a casting vote is because they wanted to prevent a situation where you can descend into the fray once you are presiding. So, Mr. Speaker, I am pleading with you to stick to the rules of this House and not exercise your original vote, and respect the rules of this House and not cast an original vote in contravention of the standing orders of Parliament.
Yes, Honorable Minister for Interior.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honorable member read the rule and decided to ignore a material part. A deputy speaker, or any other member presiding shall not retain his original vote while presiding. While presiding. So when he leaves the seat, he's entitled to vote. Period.
Other members, let's proceed. I'll put the question again. The question was, all in favor of suspending the standing order requiring 48-hour rule, to say aye. All in favor say aye. Aye. All against say no. I think the ayes have it. Yes, it will.
Mr. Speaker, I come again under Order 114 to challenge your decision on the voice vote and call for division. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. That is the procedure. We have to do it to get to the division. Thank you. Very well. So, please. Yes, Chibwe.
Mr. Speaker, because we are going into division, it is important to address a fundamental issue which has been raised to guide us as we go into the next stage of the process. Mr. Speaker, the respected learned Dr. Dominic Ayeni, for the first time, in mounting an application, relies solely on the standing orders of this House. Mr. Speaker, I dare contend that there is no such constitutional provision that denies a deputy speaker of his original vote. I dare contend, and I challenge you, Mr. Speaker, and where there is a constitution which is a fundamental law, any standing order cannot stand in the way of the constitution. So that argument he made does not survive, because he could not, if you quote a constitutional provision. In our constitution, it is only the speaker who is prohibited. It's clear, Mr. Speaker, because that speaker is not a member of Parliament. You so heavily relied on understanding orders. Mr. Speaker, let him quote an express provision in the Constitution which says that a deputy speaker has no original vote. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, table office, kindly clear the lobbies. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, I believe this is taking us back. We'll put the question, and I believe that we can move on. Otherwise, we're going to have to re-argue this whole thing again. The question now has been put, so let's deal with it. Now.
No problem. That's, for me, it's legal exercise by the lawyers, that's all. But we are clearing the lobby so that we can start with a division. Yes. Oh, very well. Honourable members, we are starting the division. All who voted aye, please file out. But when you're coming back, please, the ministers and deputy ministers will not come back into the chamber. Who are not members of parliament.
He was just being counted for food.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
No, but just on that.
one, you have not cleared the lobby. You have not cleared the lobby because you still have ministers who do not have votes within the midst of the people. And two, Mr. Speaker, the rules require that we appoint two tallies from both ends. We need to appoint two tellers from both purposes.
Let's go after
That has not been done.
Let's go.
So we need to get it right, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk. Honourable members, kindly leave the chamber. Go to the other side. Your name will be called and you come in, please. Kindly leave the chamber, please. Your names will be called out and then you
This is illegal.
Can you please clear the area? Kindly go out. Your names will be called out and then you come in, please. Honourable members, you start with the names, calling out the members, please.
Abaka Samuel Erickson. Abaka Samuel Erickson. Constituency. Shama. Abanga Abdullahi bin Duri. Abuaji George Kwame. Asine Akrosu Mansu. Abdullaiba Zuera Wale. Atam from Brian Abetifi. Atam from Charles Lower West Akim. Abba Alexander Apesi Akimoda. Adam Mohammed Amin Dr. Karaga. Abe Yao Pimpong Mansu Adubia Mansu Adubia Eje Kwesibuati New Dwabe North. Adam Frederick Oping Upper West Achim. Adumaku Mensa Collins Efija Kwabri North. Edu Johnson Kwaku Ahafano Southwest. Edu Chum Ya Osei Dr. Bosontri. Afenyo Martin Alexander Kwamina Ebutu. Africa Mensa Akwesi Owusu Amasama. Every year Nana Ayu Doctor if you ask your Sokori. Every year Kwaku Doctor Sefiwi Oso. Ajapon Ken Ohimi Astin Central. Ajari Alexander Kede. Ajimaimenu Kwaku Doma Central. Dorothy Kwaku Brokun West. Ahimbra Kingsley Carlos, Tema West. Edu William Oreku, Efijakwa Abrin South. Achia Samuel Ata, Ebuako South. Alasan Abdullah Idi, Saladan North. Alasan Lydia Seiram, Ayawaso West Wogon. Amankwa Menu Kofi, Etumako Oma. Amewu John Peter Ohoy. Amewu Shrami Kwesi Sunyani East. Amo Saibonso, Ipiapim South. Amo Stephen Doctor, Ishaisu. Amaku Andrew Esiama, Fomina. Amakwata Kwesi, Etiwa West. Amakwata Kwesi, Etiwa West. Amprechum Sapon Kwaku, Mampong. Amprechum Kwaku. Mampong. Andrew Emmanuel Eje, Ekrima Mwabiaja South. Any Moses trouble. Any Moses trouble. Another bread Frank in Sawame Wajiri. MP Eugene Boachi Subi. And you may do entry for me as Anti-Akim Central. Yes. People are going out. People are going out. People are going out. How can you vote and go out?
Assistant Deputy Speaker to take the chair. Ringing. This is ringing. Ringing of election. Ringing of election.
Democracy must prevail. Democracy must prevail. Democracy must prevail. Our democracy must be protected. Our democracy, and we will not allow. We will not allow. We will not.
Nobody see. Parliament is great.
Hey, what?
Nobody will see.
Nobody will see it. It's over. Nobody will see it. It's over.
You choose what you want to do with it.
Eduardo. Can we all sit down? Let us all sit down. Let us sit down and get this matter sit down.
Leave the place. Sit down. Let's get this matter resolved, please. Sit down and let's get this matter resolved.
This matter cannot be resolved.
If we get standing, nothing will be resolved. Can we sit down and get this matter resolved, please?
You want to be speaker, you want to be MP at the same time. You can't eat your cake and have it. Never at all. Never. No negotiation. I'm fine not all. You are actually what is this?
The house is adjourned.
That's why you can't eat your cake and have it.
Colleagues. Hello, colleagues. Both sides, whether majority or minority, kindly resume your seats.
Neither will not listen to you.
Kindly resume your seats. Let there be sanity, and we'll take a decision collectively. Colleagues, resume your seats. Whether majority or minority. But colleagues.
Speak. How can I be chairman?
Colleagues.
Nobody is sitting.
Colleagues.
Who is asking us to take our seat?
There be some other
responsibility. You're not going to receive our seat.
Colleagues, resume your seats, colleagues. Enough of the disorderness, colleagues.
The noise is coming from your side. Please tell your people to resume their seats. To resume their seats.
Colleagues, resume your seats. Colleagues, resume your seats. Colleagues, resume your seats.
We will vote. Speaker will vote.
Colleagues, resume your seats.
NBC for me and Transfer.
Colleagues, resume your seats.
Honorable members, and you call yourself a member of Parliament. Please resume your seat. Colleagues, let's sit down for some order. Let's sit down for some order to come back to this house. If you don't know law, you don't know order. We want to know any illegality. Colleagues, I think
Mr. Speaker,
Yes. Honourable members, let me come to lead direction. Honourable members, under the circumstances, we are joining the House for tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the forenoon. We are joining the House to tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the forenoon. Honourable members, the House stands adjourned. Yeah, this morning, 9 o'clock this morning, it's already 12.
colleagues, just so that we'll be here early enough. I think